sheet is, I'll just read it, even though I know you can read it. Part one, so you put your name, your period, everybody gets their own sheet. Part one, think about line, dark, light, controlled strokes, balance, form, consistency, and other terms. Anything that you can think of that you were using to describe other projects that we did. Think about vocabulary terms and how you use to express your thoughts about an image. With your friend or friends, because you are going to be paired up, or if there's odd numbers of people, there might be 3 of you. You are going to be matched up with them. You're going to take a gallery walk and talk about what you see. I want you to make at least 2 passes through before writing down anything. You know, choose which side you want to go to, walk around, look up and down. If you see something that stands out at you, mention it to your friend. This is time to have some quiet conversation. And before I get to the next part, after the before writing part, I want to ask, how many of you have actually been to an art museum so far, or a gallery? Okay, just a few, it's fine. Has any of those people, and Jonathan, great. Have you been to a gallery walk where there's kind of a lot of people, or a museum where it's kind of crowded? Dabs? Cool. So that's sort of my idea in this group work, is that you're going to be working in a group. Whenever I go to a gallery or an art walk, an art museum, I generally don't go alone. I have, but usually I go with a friend or more, and you have to figure out how to position yourself in order to see the work, how to maneuver around other people, and it's a process in order to view art. That's what it's going to be like in here. Obviously, you can see the way the desks are set up and the fact that there's a good amount of you. So don't let that discourage you. Take your time. You're going to be looking at it from afar. We always talk about, distance is your friend when you're doing your project, but being close also really helps, and it changes your perspective. So that's why I want you to take at least 2 passes, because you're going to think, oh, that looks really good from here, and then you could go up front and go, well, I noticed maybe this could be a little different, or wow, that's just as good up front as I thought it was. Just balance and that's what critiques are. It's critical judgment. It's not criticism, it's critical. And that's part of the lesson in this process. After you get through that, let's see, I wanted that this is an important point. You do not, like with the pencil portrait, where we're both working on one sheet, you do not have to come to an agreement on what artists you write about. When I'm in the gallery with my friend, occasionally I go, I want to go back and see this person's work or that piece of artwork. I'll be back. And then you go back and you can talk to them about it. You can talk about why. It's just increasing your art discussion. So then you write it out, and then pick 3 artists, write about why you chose them and what makes their work so strong, and maybe something that surprised you. You might see something from afar when you go up, you thought, wow, they really made an interesting choice there, because we're not looking at them side by side with the animal drawings. And then you just put the artist's name. There's a colon here because I don't want you to be limited to this tiny little space. You can start writing right there. Think critically yourself. And you're still going to be doing what we did with the portraits, where you're also reflecting on your own piece. After you take the time to fill that out and you feel comfortable that you've found 3 really interesting pen drawings, then we're going to flip this over. I only folded it in half so I can give this to you in parts. We're going to flip this over, and this is part 2. Part 2 is self-evaluation. Reflecting on all the work you've talked about and looked at, as well as your process, rate yourself on these scales from 1 to 5, 5 being high. Then give a short description answering the last questions. So, how confident were you when you started this project? I tried to do these in chronological order. How detailed is your animal? And this could be based off of, I'm just going to give you a little side note, this could be based off of the fact that maybe you did an animal that wasn't really very detailed to begin with. So if you think you captured that, you can give yourself a higher score because you captured the detail from what you were drawing. You saw what you were drawing. My strokes are controlled and consistent. that's something I think we can all identify with the laborious process we went through. And then, how confident are you with your final work? Because that'll be interesting to see the difference between here and here. It could go either way, or it could stay the same, one or the other. It's just a good reflection process. Then the questions, just 3. What do you like most about your picture? You have to ask, there's something that everybody should be proud of because they're all amazing. What would you change about your picture? We talked about how we can always improve. Nobody's perfect. And then what did you like most and what did you like least about this project? And that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what you personally created. It's the project itself and the experience and being able to identify what you like and what you don't like about it. So we're gonna pair people up. I think that we can just start by, you can just pair people up with whoever's next to you. Feel free to just do that and come up and get a clipboard. And if there ends up being an odd number of people, we'll put you into a group. I don't necessarily, I mean, I could come around and hand them to you, but I think in a gallery setting or in a museum setting, you would just come through and pick one up. Just say, hey buddy, let's go to the gallery and make a walk, and you can start wherever you want. Does that make sense?